Thank you, Chiara. Thank you to you all for being here. Thank you for being here in such a large number, as has been previously the case in the other meetings. I would like to greet you on behalf of my father, who unfortunately could not join us here last year. I would like to invite you to an applause for my father, who could not be here this year, but we all hope that he will join us here next year. We are celebrating the 11th event of the Future of Science, and thank you very much to the foundation, to the Cini Foundation, and to the Tronchetti Provera Foundation that have supported us. And I would like to thank Mr. Bazzoli and Mr. Tronchetti Provera. In the past, the Future of Science conferences tackled a wide array of topics, from DNA to evolution to water to nanosciences and the mind. In a certain way, all these conferences have paved the way for this meeting of today, precision medicine. So we travel back to man and his and her diseases, which are really at the apex of our interest. But what is the meaning of precision medicine? We have to go back in the years. In the past, we have a limited number of therapies for oncological diseases and other diseases, and we had mainly viral and bacterial diseases to fight, and then antibiotics were discovered, vaccines were discovered, and a certain number of diseases were or disappeared, were conquered and defeated. But now we have a certain number of diseases which are generated inside the body: neurodegenerative diseases, oncological diseases, and heart diseases. For many years, surgery was the only cure for solid tumors. Up to 40, 50 years, that was the case. Now, little by little, new therapies were developed, but little was known about the biology of tumors. The therapy was focusing on the stage, on the way in which the tumor had invaded the whole body, and different solutions were applied. But in certain cases, the patients were cured. In other cases, the patients were not cured. But little by little, the knowledge of the different nature of tumor was developed, and targeted therapy was little by little developed because of the biological features of the tumor. These improved the cure, the care, and the healing of the patient, and accompanied by a decrease in side effects. But the revolution was brought about by a DNA coding, and little by little, genetic assessment of the tumor was developed, and the understanding that each tumor is different from the other was developed. And now we have the genetic sequences of tumors, and we can develop targeted solutions and therapies. And we have also developed intelligent drugs which affect the antigen of the membrane. Trastuzumab is the first cure developed, which has really brought about a great change in the curing of breast cancer. And then other intelligent drugs were developed targeting specific tumors. And this is the knowledge which has been acquired over the years, even though it cures only a limited number of diseases. Because the problem is complex, not just the genetics or the genetical array. The genetical situation of the tumor is important, because on the other side we have the patient and its genetic makeup, which is also very important. That is why we have to collect all the genetic knowledge available there for the population, and we have to develop a database so as to be able to understand for each individual individual and its genetic, which is the most suitable genetic approach and cure. This applies even more to prevention. At the prevention level, we can understand what is the successibility of a certain individual in developing a certain tumor. For example, a certain situation is is leading to a greater susceptibility to develop a breast cancer. This is known already, and this is why certain solutions at the level of screening and prophylaxis can be introduced to prevent breast cancer. But we have ethical problems. We have the problem connected with privacy, and we have sensitive data which have to be collected, and this, of course, creates other problems. This is a complex and complicated situation, which is made even more complex by the fact that not all genes are expressed in the same way in an individual, because genes are interacting with the environment. And this is another branch of the science. This is epigenetics, because the environment can affect the way in which genes are expressed. And therefore, we have other aspects such as the lifestyle, the nutritional aspects, and smoking and non-smoking. So we have many other factors which enter into play. But the cure will become more and more precise, not just from a medical point of view, but also from the surgical point of view. We have precision surgery with the resort to the use of robots, which may improve surgery by reducing side effects and by being very, very precise and less invasive. It looks as if the future of medicine will become more and more technological. So we have to consider what is the possible role that physicians, doctors, and surgeons will play in the future. If a diagnosis can be carried out by a simple sampling of the tissues, what is then the role that doctors will play? Is that going to be a negligible role? No, I don't think so, because doctors will have more time to devote to patients, and will have more time to listen to their patients, because apart from genetics and diseases, each individual has has had different experiences and different expectations, which should and may lead to different therapies and different choices. That is why the doctor will be there to understand the person, the individual, better, to improve the precision of therapies themselves. Thank you.